Boys, I'm so sorry, but I could not help myself. It was ripe for the pickings. Today I want to go over the trailer and the move set that they released for our boy Blitzcrank back here. If you're not down to spend the time and nerd out with me, I totally understand, but this is probably going to be a long one, so let's strap in. First, I want to go over his character move list on the 2xko website. I love this. He likes sparks, fulfilling programming directives, and hugs. So lovable. So at the top we have his unique moves. He's got a down forward light, which just looks like a little bit of a longer range crouching light. It cannot cancel into itself, but it can cancel into other light attacks. Though I'm a little bit confused because I'm not sure. You can see how far away he is after hitting it here. So I'm not sure if his standing light will connect from this range. If his standing light connects here, then it is the longest range standing light in the game. That's yet to be determined, but we can take a look at his light attacks later in the video. Next we have rear compression, which is while you're running, you press heavy and it does this like booty bump on the ground. It does hit OTG, so when you knock down an opponent, you can pick them up off the ground with this move and then continue the combo, probably with an assist, or maybe you just like do it into super. And then we have uplift, which is his back heavy move. When I first saw this in the trailer, I was a little confused because like we see his down heavy in the trailer, which is his launcher. And then we also see this move. So I was like, which one is which, right? And it looks like, yeah, they gave him a unique move, back heavy. I don't think anyone else in the cast has this. And it's kind of interesting because it looks like it hits all around him. That kind of implies that it could hit behind him if he executes it while the enemy's like drifting over. Next, we have his specials. And guys, this is where the juice happens. This is where the fun begins. But before we start, we need to understand his steam mechanic. Basically, he has a few moves that build up steam. When he has it built up, his smokestacks on the back turn red and they billow with steam, and the blue accents on his body get more accented. And then he builds up bars of this. We don't know how many bars, but we do know by the text on this move list that it is bars. It's not just like one big bar that depletes over time or something. And then when you have a move that uses that steam, it just uses it. You don't get to choose when you use the move to make it a steam version of the move. It just does it. There is one move where you do get to choose, but we'll go over that later on. Okay, so first is his down S1 air purifier. It's got a couple things going on here, so let's just go one at a time. As you saw there, it pulls them down from the air. This is a hit grab that only works on airborne opponents. So even if they're standing or crouching right in front of you, it's not going to work. Don't get up in arms about the grab here. It's not an actual grab. It just means that when it hits, it visually looks like a grab. But it doesn't really matter either way, because if it hits, he's just going to combo off of it. If you block it, it's still going to pull you in and he's going to set up some pressure. The next interesting thing about this, and you probably saw it, was that this restands. And that just means that it leaves the opponent standing after it hits. And this is a very, very strong mixed mechanic in a lot of fighting games, and it will be especially in 2xko. As far as I know, only Blitz has this on one of his moves. Basically, the reason why this is strong is because when you knock an opponent down, it's usually a soft knockdown, and they can roll, they can get up attack, they can do all this stuff, right, off of the knockdown. But restanding limits that. So now it turns it into, instead of like a roll chase or a tech situation, it turns it into a strike throw situation. So you can get a lot of mix off of this. And then I imagine situations where you could also set up other kinds of mix because, and we'll see this later on, this is also his assist. So that's without steam, he gets the restand. With steam, and we can see that by like the glowing, let's see here, like, yeah, the glowing blue and the smokestacks on the back. And then you can see right when he uses the move, the steam goes away. So he used his bar of steam, right? But it's also signified by this like blue shockiness. That means the steam was applied to this move, right? Comes in and he just does that automatic follow-up, the little bit of a burst around him, and that leaves him in a comboable state. You can see here that Blitz recovers right here, and Darius is still in hit stun, so Blitz can solo combo off of this. As it says here, steam spends if available, and will shock the opponent. So you don't get to choose. If you have steam, it just does it. We do get a follow-up to air purifier by pressing S1 again, and that side switches. This also leaves the opponent in hit stun while you recover. So as you can see here, Blitz is recovered, and he can act and hit them. It might be a little bit tight, but I believe he can hit them, and I think we see that in the trailer later on. I don't know how this works if you have steam. If you use air purifier and you have steam, but you want a side switch, does it just like not do that second hit. I'm not quite sure. We'll see. Maybe you can only do the side switch without steam. I don't know. Okay, next is his rocket grab, which is basically the same exact move as before, except instead of being for airborne opponents, it will only hit standing and crouching opponents. Just like before, when you have a bar of steam, it will shock them as you saw and allow you to combo off of it. This one is also air okay. So whereas air purifier you cannot use in the air, rocket grab you can. And it does this automatic follow-up where it drills you into the ground and gives you a knockdown. And then if you have steam and you do it in the air, it does this shock and leaves them in a crazy amount of hit stun. So you can see here, Blitz grabs shock and Blitz recovers. He can act right here. So it gives you a year to confirm off of this with really almost whatever you want. I imagine there's going to be some really, really sweet confirms off of this. And then you get a couple of follow-ups. So first one is if it hits on the ground, you can press S1 again, and it does this uppercut punch. And then as well as you can hold for charging your steam, actually. And it has a really cute animation and sound. You can see like the smokestacks kind of do this like poof, 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 as they charge up. And then you get that little bit of like a train sound. I think it's adorable and great sound design. Yeah, so you press rocket grab to throw the hook out and then you hold it to charge. Now you can press forward and S1 and it will rocket grab even when held. That's just kind of a quality of life thing. Sometimes people like hold a button a little bit too long and they want to help you differentiate between getting the steam charge and actually getting the hook. Next we have rocket punch, which is basically exactly what it looks like. It seems to be like a full screen punch of your fist, a strike. It actually destroys special level projectiles, which is really cool. Could go through like Jinx, Monkey, and her trap and stuff like that. And then it can be canceled into rocket grab or steam charge on hit or on block. So I kind of imagine a situation where Blitzcrank is kind of like playing this keep away game, zoning if you will, but not really zoning. And he's trying to keep you at bay. And then, you know, you're full screen, he makes you block this rocket punch, and then you just cancel into charge and you start building up meter. They're going to feel pressured to come in on you because it's a really good resource and they don't want you building up steam. I imagine that will open up a lot of opportunities to punish their approach and just kind of like play with the timing and mess with their heads, right? It's gonna be really, really interesting. And then, yeah, as you can see here, it actually combos into the grab if it hits. Next is spinning turbine, forward S2. Basically, it just moves forward a little bit and does this like spinning strike. It hits both in front and behind Blitzcrank. So this kind of adds to what I was saying earlier about his back heavy kind of hitting behind him. I kind of imagine there being something going on here with these moves where you can use them in conjunction with each other. Each hit charges a little bit of steam, which is great. The startup of spinning turbine can be special canceled into either prompt disposal, which is the follow-up here down S2, or trash compactor, while retaining the forward momentum from spinning turbine. Trash compactor, if you didn't know, is his ultimate. It is also a command grab. Now the reason this is strong is because it basically extends the reach of your grab. In fighting games we call this a Kara cancel, and it basically just means canceling the beginning of a move with the startup of another move. And it's really useful for characters with grabs like this because if they have a move that advances them forward, then they can cancel that advancement and grab, thus extending the reach of it. A lot of like the strongest grapplers in fighting games that you can think of have this mechanic in some way. But it's kind of interesting because like prompt disposal is the same as garbage collection, which is also down S2. So don't think that like I can only grab if I do the spinning turbine. You can do it either way. Here we have wrecking ball, and this just looks so silly. The inspiration for the thumbnail, right? He can fall out of it with that ball move, but I want to show this really quick actually. So it does not hit standing opponents. This will only hit airborne opponents or people who, you know, jump. And Darius is a tall boy, so I don't think they would show this if they weren't trying to say, hey, like this doesn't hit grounded opponents. He goes back and forth 3 times and then falls out of the sky with this spinning move. That spinning move at the end has a slight hitbox behind him. So you see this common theme. He's got a lot of things that hit slightly behind him as well. And each hit charges a bit of steam for Blitzcrank. So check this out. When he goes up, he's got no steam right now. No smoke, no red. 1, 2, and it hits on the 3rd swipe. Suddenly, he has steam. You can see it billowing out his back. You can see the blue is brighter. When he lands, he's got the steam. My hypothesis is that we will have 3 bars of steam, and that this move will build all 3 of them. So if you do it in a combo, then you're ending the combo with full steam. That's my hypothesis. I could be wrong. but I have a feeling we get 3 bars and you can fill them very quickly with this one move. Next is garbage collection. So again, down S2, just like before from prompt disposal, you can grab them on the ground, or it's also air okay, which means if you're in the air, you can grab an airborne opponent. You can hold it to do a running grab. So check this out. He's got like the bear grab from Street Fighter. And then if he lands it outside of a combo, just like raw, it says a lot of steam, which is really interesting. So we'll see here. Yeah, it says a lot of steam, but he doesn't have a bar here. He's not billowing, he's not red. So I'm not really sure how much steam is a lot, right? It could just be like a half bar or something, I don't know. And then with a bar of steam, Blitzcrank gains 1 hit of armor on startup. So check this out. Oh, you see that Darius smacks him? Clank. I love that. I love this animation, and I love being able to do that. Excuse me. Just like oppress my foes, right? That's gonna be really interesting. Okay, finally, last but not least, his supers and ultimates, and I guess his assists as well. So first we have Helping Hand, which just slams the ground. Interesting thing here, it charges 1 steam bar on activation and on hit, 1 more steam bar. This kind of lends to my hypothesis earlier where I do think there will be 3. I don't think there will be 2, but who knows. And then it also ground bounces on hit. So there might be some way to combo after this, like with double down, if you do the super and then call the assist and handshake tag and combo off of that. It doesn't look like he's actionable. Darius touches the ground before Blitzcrank recovers. So I don't think Blitz can solo combo off of it, but maybe I'm wrong. Next is Static Field, which reminds me a lot of the Super Broly or the Boo supers from Dragon Ball FighterZ. But I digress. He hops into the air and casts a giant electrical field. If he has steam, you can spend 1 bar of steam to deal more damage by holding S2. This is the move I was talking about earlier. It's the only one in his kit that allows you to voluntarily spend steam on it. So not only will it cost a bar of your super, but you can also spend 1 bar of steam to enhance it, and here's what it looks like. You can see it has like a few more hits, maybe 5 more hits, and I don't know how much more damage it will do, but very interesting nonetheless. This is kind of like other tag fighters where you do your level 1, and then you can spend another bar for a level 2 and get more damage, but you're not going all the way to your level 3, right? It's just interesting that they made it part of the steam mechanics. So you're not spending 2 bars of super, you're spending 1 bar of super and a bar of steam. Next is Trash Compactor, his level 3 ultimate. It looks so good. Amazing. I love watching it. Sorry boys, but that is such a good animation. I really should have waited to do my Rate the Ultimate video for this super as well. But anyways, it does have invincible startup as all ultimates do, and it is a grab. This hits opponents who are standing or crouching and whiffs against airborne opponents. So just like any other command grab. And again, you can do it after spinning turbine. So here we see it. Yeah, look at that. He's back here and then moves a little bit with spinning turbine, cancels into it, and you get grabbed. I'm not sure what the opponent can do during this freeze right here, during this little animation where he winds up. In some games, they're pretty much dead to rights if they're not already in the air. And in other games, they can see this, react to it, and then jump, so it's yet to be determined. Finally, we have his assist. So he's got his rocket grab assist, which hits straight across the screen. I love that little pose he does. He's like so happy and proud of himself. But yeah, it goes across the screen, pulls the opponent in on hit or block, so you can set up some really nasty things with your point character. This move can only hit standing or crouching opponents, not airborne. Obviously, it's the same as his move when he's using it on point. And then assist opponents will be hit away, and Blitzcrank will immediately retract his hand if they hit an assist. Very interesting. And then next we have his back assist, which is the same move as before as well. It's just the airborne one, and this actually restands as an assist, guys. That's so nutty. So imagine a situation where you do this full combo as Echo, you go into Blitzcrank restand assist, and then you just set up mix from there. Left, right, high, low, strike, throw, Bob's your uncle. You really have the world at your fingertips with that move. I think it's going to be really strong, and if they don't give other characters restands, I can just see a lot of people picking Blitzcrank as their anchor. You are giving up some like neutral, a lot of neutral coverage. Like think about Jinx assist, it goes full screen. Think about Vi assist, where it OTGs and it's like huge. It's this huge pillar, right? So you are giving up some of this neutral control for like combo ability or mix ability. So I see the give and take, but I also could just see it being really, really strong. But yeah, we'll see. And lastly, we have his static field assist, which is just his super assist. So after a character dies, they can spend a bar and come in and do that super assist, which is his like big force field that we saw earlier. And this one, obviously he's dead, so you don't have any steam to spend. You can't enhance it in any way. It just is what it is. Okay, now that we know his moveset, we don't have to guess at what's happening in the trailer. We know what's going on, and it will help a lot more in like figuring out his kit. So let's take a look. I love his personality. Okay, so we see here she gets hit with the grab, well, the hit grab, pulls her in, launches her, and we don't know if he can combo solo off of this. I don't think so, because it's a special move follow-up, so maybe he just has to go into super, but you could definitely combo into an assist and handshake tag. By the way, I love Vi's animation right there. The way she falls from a lot of hits from a lot of characters is like so great. I love that animation. And then he does it again here on block. Now take a look at this. Pulls her in, and she goes for a jab here. You can see her trying to punch, but he hits with a meaty standing light, and you can see it counter hits because she turns red. So a couple things here. This means that Blitz is setting up a strike throw from pretty much anywhere on screen. He can pull you in. If you block it, if you hit it, he's comboing, but if you block it, he's strike throwing you immediately. And that will also happen if you're jumping in the air and he pulls you in from the air, right? And this is really, really, really strong, but also it's just a better version of Darius's, right? Darius pulls you with the axe, headbutts you for the strike, grabs you for the throw, right? So same thing, except from full screen. Secondly, we can see his hitbox here from the standing light. I think it's the steam. I think the steam is the hitbox. And we talked about earlier how he has that down forward light, where I was like, it leaves them a little bit far away from max range. I don't know if he can actually connect with his standing light. I'm not sure. The steam looks a little bit stubby in that regard, but maybe it will still connect. It's yet to be determined. And yeah, then he hits her just with a full combo here. It goes into like light, or actually light, medium, heavy, launcher, light, medium, heavy, pull in, drill down. So a very basic combo right there. And then he does the same thing to Alawi, but now it's showing the throw aspect of that. So he pulls Alawi in, grabs her. And what option did she choose there? So let's take a look. Did she do any option? Looks like she just stands up, probably just trying to block the strike, right? And she gets grabbed. Does the same thing. She jumps, pulls her down, and then he goes for a strike. Now this is right before she lands, so I imagine if you just wait a hair, then yeah, you can just set up your strike throw mix again, right? But then he just goes in for the aerial grab. I think that's his aerial grab, the down S2 in the air. I don't think that's his forward throw in the air, but yeah. Next, it shows his whiffed grab and what that looks like. So they're trying to say, hey, you know, it's great, but if you miss, it leaves you in a lot of ending lag. I love the little question marks above his head. It reminds me of the exclamation points from Metal Gear Solid, but yeah, I also love that. I hope that's his taunt. So yeah, we see here, so earlier we showed that his rocket punch, not the grab, the rocket punch will go through projectiles, but this is actually the rocket grab. I think it's only going through the projectile because he charged it up and got steam on it. So we can see the steam on his back, and then the blue hook, and it goes through Monkey, grab, pulls her in, does the follow-up, and then, like I said before, you can solo combo off of this. Goes for a side switch. Oh, interesting. So that's the aerial one. So now he doesn't have steam. He can follow up, goes for the side switch, and then just combo. Now that wall bounce that he has access to is really strong because wall bounces basically have like a defined amount of hit stun, and if you do them at the end of a combo, it's like it doesn't get diminished at all. You can always do that wall bounce and like follow up with something, right? So I imagine, your point character does a full combo, tag into Blitz, do the wall bounce into shenanigans, right? And also this I think is like a true string regardless of hit stun, where he does this part right here. So hook, side swap, hit him with the wall bounce. So that's going to tag on a lot of extra damage to the end of combos. Now he charges it up, blocks. I love his crouching block animation, by the way. This is so cute how he just sits on his little ass. And then he stands up, tanks the hit from Jinx, and grabs her ass. That's his forward throw. So you can just see he just kind of jumps over Yasuo button, does a forward throw. I love this animation. And then doesn't get like a safe jump after it. But he, he can jump in. He blocked the get up attack. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he does his standing light right there. I think if he did not do his standing light, he would have had enough time for a safe jump, actually. So, yeah, that's his standing light. And then he jumps in, and he's a little bit high when Yasuo wakes up. If he didn't do that standing light, I think this is a safe jump. So Dunxia combos into an Echo and then comes back, and now he bounces you against the wall with his like charged. This is not his JH. I think it's his J2H. I'm not quite sure which one is which actually. But anyways, he hits you with this charged heavy that bounces you against the wall, and he lets whoever's doing this clip allows Yasuo to fall behind, right? But I think this is where his back heavy could come into play. Like right here. Bounce right here. If you did back heavy, I think it would hit Yasuo, and I think as he falls behind, and I think it would hit Yasuo forward in front of Blitz, allow you to go into like the spinny move, into really whatever you want to end the combo and keep the corner. But they also wanted to show this cool interaction here. So earlier we also talked about his charge, right? And you can actually cancel that charge with a backdash or by just releasing the button. And it's interesting because a lot of people, when they see that you can cancel it, they think, oh, I can charge, and then like on knockdown, right? You knock down your opponent, you charge, and then you forward dash in, canceling it with a forward dash to pick up the Oki, right? And you get a little bit of charge, like optimization, but you can only backdash cancel it. So this is a really interesting application of only being able to backdash cancel, but still picking up the combo. So he charges here, backdashes because Yasuo goes to the other side, right? So he backdashes, and then picks it up with the OTG. Really, really interesting use of, canceling the charge with a backdash and being limited to only canceling it with a backdash, right? And then goes into this super that, again, like ground bounces, but yeah. Okay, so next interaction we have with Braum. He does the back heavy. It just looks like a really nice anti-air, right? And it actually, as he moves, Braum goes a little bit behind him. But since this spinning move hits behind and in front, it hits him, sends Braum in front of him. Such a cool looking combo. And then gets like the full combo. And that shows him doing the armored grab again. Yeah, Braum swings but gets grabbed anyways. And then this is kind of like a little bit of a tick throw situation, right? So he makes Ari block 2 standing lights, and then just runs in for the grab. I think that's his back throw, not his actual command grab. I think that's just back throw. Goes for coming like a wrecking ball. And then I'm pretty sure, I can't tell exactly if Echo hit first or if Blitz hit first, but I think this hit from Blitz's cross up here. Goes into wrecking ball again, and then into just that super we saw. So nothing crazy special there. Okay, so yeah, here's a combo from having Steam on your hook. Seems like a fairly optimal combo. Go right into the spin, and then there is the down forward light right here, and he just goes right into his medium, heavy, launcher. And then that's the other move I was confused about here, because before we saw like this forward one where he hits him with his elbow in the air, right? And this is like the body slam. But it sends him down. So I think this is his heavy and the other one is J2H, but I'm not quite sure, like the jumping down heavy. But yeah, flap, 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 knock him up, hit him down, and that ground bounces and allows him to go for just other shenanigans. Okay, I think he does the same thing here again at the end of that combo, but a little better. Okay, yeah, so here we see the triple Wrecking Ball. And notice he didn't have any steam going into this move. Although, he doesn't have any steam between swipes either. So it kind of contradicts what I said earlier, right? About my hypothesis of there being like 3 bars that he builds up. Doesn't have steam there, hits him with the third one, and then comes down with steam. I don't know, maybe it only like builds at the end or something? I'm not quite sure. So we will see how that works. But yeah, it goes into Echo, tags back into Blitz, does this ground pound again. Looks really nice at the end of combos. Kind of like Vi, how you tag into her and she does like the charged heavy and then ground, like the slam and then supers. Since he had steam from the Wrecking Ball, right, he maintains the steam. So even though he switched out and back in, he maintains his steam meter and then goes for like the aerial fist grab thing, does the shock, gives him enough time to land here, and then combo in. I think this is just his, yeah, so this is the up and forward one, right? And then right into super. So it's basically like the grab fist, but Darius isn't far away, so it's just like, looks like a punch. And then goes right into the ultimate, rather, not the super. Which is such a good homage to his League moveset with the grabs and like the shield thing around him, as well as like bopping you up. Okay, boys, so final thoughts time. Now that I've watched the trailer in depth, that I've read the moveset religiously, what do I think? Guys, I think he's going to be really, really strong. I don't know if he's the best character in the game, but he's strong. And I have a few reasons for that rattling around in my noggin, so this is going to be in no particular order. Firstly, he's the first true grappler in 2xKO. I know Braum has his command grab, but his kit isn't really built around getting the grab. Illaoi is kind of pseudo grappler. If she gets the grab, then she gets a lot of damage, and that's kind of scary, right? She gets if her tentacles out. Vi doesn't count, you can tech it. So he's the first true grappler with a kit built around grappling. And that in and of itself doesn't make him strong, but I'm just trying to set the stage for everything else. So firstly, he can get strike throw from full screen. That's crazy. Before it was Darius with his axe pull could like force a strike throw on you. Obviously you have strike throw on wake up and everybody can do that, right? But Darius could force the strike throw. And actually everybody can't do that because I think there's like a 5-frame invul on wake up. So strike throw has not been like a super strong aspect yet outside of Darius. So he can do it from full screen, pull you in when you're in the air or on the ground and just run his train on you. Not only can he do it as a point, but he can do it as your assist. So imagine you play Echo and you have left-right mix, you have high-low mix, you don't really have strike-throw mix. Blitz gives it to you. Not only that, but you have a restand. So he can restand by himself, which is so strong because nobody else has it. And he can just, again, go for strike-throw. At the end of a combo, he can hit you with that and immediately right into strike-throw. And then he can give it to you as an assist. Again, Echo, or other characters that have left rights, they have high lows, they don't have strike throw, they don't have restand mix, and he gives it to you. So I think that's really, really strong. The next aspect of his strength, I think, is his timing and his ability to manipulate timing on things and mess with your head, because a grappler is nothing if all they have is the grab. You have to be able to mess with your opponent's head and make them think you're going to do option A when really you're way over there on fucking option Z. A big way he can do that is with his charge up. He can do it from full screen. He can cancel his like full screen punch into charge and make you approach him because you don't want him to get steam. Steam is so strong. I mean, I'll talk about that after this, but steam is really, really strong, guys. And they don't want you to get it. So he can force your approach and then punish that. He can also just do it in the middle of block strings. We see this a lot in games where people have some kind of like buff thing that they can do quickly. So he can do like light, medium, heavy, whatever block string, go into charge, get a little bit of steam meter, cancel it, and then go immediately into strike throw. Usually it's fast enough that even if you react, it's basically stagger pressure. If you're not mashing on defense, like you're blocking and you're just like mashing the button, then this is gonna work. So he can cancel any of his normal moves into that wind up special, cancel the special, and then strike throw you. So that's pretty strong. Again, just messing with timing and messing with what the opponent thinks you're going to do. Next, I think, is his steam mechanic. Guys, in a game where EX moves do not exist, they gave Blitzcrank EX moves. Not only can he add armor onto his grabs, he can also make special moves comboable solo. That's an EX move, guys. And they did it without using the traditional like built-in meter to the game. So I think not only is that strong in and of itself, it's also strong in the context of him being a grappler. Like I said, they don't want you to get steam. So anytime you threaten getting steam, they're on edge, right? They want to do something about it. And you can get in their heads like that. You can read them. What do they want to do about that? How does each player respond to me getting steam? Right? I imagine a situation where you start a combo without any steam, you build up the steam during the combo, you use the steam on moves at the end of the combo because they have really high hit stun and allow you to tack on a lot of damage, and then you just end with your level 1 super. The activation gets you a bar, and then hitting the opponent with the super gets you a bar. So you can start the combo with no steam meter, use 1 bar of super meter, and end the combo with 2. And a lot of damage because you cashed out the steam in the middle, right? Or you don't even have to use the super in the end or the steam empowered moves. You just build up steam in the middle of the combo, you end it with a shit ton of steam, and then you use it on their wake up. You use it for a strike throw on their Oki, and if you have armor on your grab, you're eliminating one of their options, that being mashing against you. So yeah, steam is crazy strong. A couple of smaller things. First is he has a lot of moves that hit behind him. I don't think this is like a crazy impactful thing, but I think what it lends to is his ability to manipulate his combos and where you end up. So he can make you come out of the corner and go mid-screen. He can hit you from behind him and send you forward to keep you in the corner. So he has a lot of agency about where he wants you to go. And all of this together, like the grappling, the steam, the timing, the manipulation on his combos, makes it feel like you are playing Blitzcrank's game. You're not playing your game anymore, you're playing his game. You have to respond to what he wants you to do. And that's a really, really strong aspect in fighting games, is when you can make the other person play your game. They have to respond to you. They're constantly trying to think, what are you going to do and what can I do against it? Instead of enforcing their own will on you, they're responding to your will being influenced on them. So yeah, I think all of these reasons together, I think he's going to be pretty strong. I didn't see a lot of glaring weaknesses. Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of OTGs. I think we only saw 1 OTG, which is like, whatever. He got combos a myriad of other ways without OTG. His assists aren't like neutral assists. They're kind of like fuck with you assists, restand, and strike throw mix. But like if you're strong in the neutral already with your point, then you don't really need it, right? Yeah, he doesn't have like a Jinx rocket to send full screen, but he has his hand rocket, which is gonna mess with you so much more. Now, I wouldn't pair him with a character that has bad neutral. I would pair him with a character that has really good neutral and can support that character and make them even stronger. I think he'd be a pretty good anchor because a few reasons. So he has his steam, so you can call him in mid combo and then like handshake tag into him mid combo, build up steam, and then switch him back out and still keep your point character. And then he has steam. So if you die or if you switch him back in, he has the steam. So I think he's like really good with like solo resource use and making himself safe by himself. He doesn't seem to like need assists, especially with steam. He can cover for his grab and make him armored. He can combo off of things solo. So yeah, I think he'll be a really good anchor and a really good support for points that already have really good neutral and don't need a neutral assist. Cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot more that could be said about him, but I think I got to the meat and potatoes of it, and this video is already pretty long, right? So thanks for watching till the end. I really appreciate you if you've made it this far. Please like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And yeah, boys, we got 7 more days. 7 more days, and then this chonky boy, this Clanker, hard R, is in our hands. I can't wait. Have a good day, boys. Adios. Okay, now that we know his moveset, we know what's going on with him.